3, getting started. B semi.
Are we on?
So I noticed in pregame practice, Jen Dodds threw the last stone, and it looks like Morrison is missing their skip this weekend. So playing with 3. I don't know if that's been true all weekend, but definitely in this game.
Yep, probably just this game. Good morning out there. Here we are on this Sunday morning of the Autumn Gold, coming to you from the Okotoks Curling Club in Okotoks, Alberta. We've got a B semifinal happening here between Team Schwaller and Team Morrison. Team Schwaller with hammer, having won the draw to the button. Morrison electing to throw up the center line guard, and Schwaller's going to go in the wings, not come around it. Have not seen a lot of this strategy amongst most of the games.
Yeah, the last time I've seen or played that strategy in U18, U20s, it's effective to draw the play away from the middle, but not always effective in generating your deuce. But if you do get a miss, then you're able to come in, sit two. So interesting to see it being employed here.
Clean. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa! Whoa! Genau.
And just hanging on to the side there for a little biter. So Schwaller's going to try and hit, and they can't really afford to cross face here at all, or else they're going to be rolling out. It looks like they might just have done that. Oh, and they just hang on. So
interesting too, taking the other turn.
Yeah.
Which now Morrison's forced to do the same.
What did they say?
Well, if you take the other turn on this shot, one of your sweepers runs out of ice.
Yeah, exactly. You can see that they take more ice on the inside out. Often curling to the inside out will have a bit more movement than the outside in. So throwing the same weight but taking a little extra ice.
Clean. Yep. Clean. Yep.
Rolled in now, just biting the 8-foot there, but Schwaller seems content to try and keep the play off to the side there. That's one way to eliminate that center line guard, is just to have the play to the side. And probably going to see Morrison try to get a hit and roll behind that guard at some point, but this is going to roll towards the outside, and rolls just a bit too far. Still in play, but not in the ring, so Morrison is now going to try and use that guard.
We'll see if that ever comes into play. You never think they do, and then they always have a way of coming back and biting you.
Yeah, you can see a corner freeze to that happening at some point.
A jam.
Yeah.
This is the side they threw their draw to the button on, so they should have a good idea of what the speed is here.
Noted. Okay.
.13.3 is going to be too big on this.
Okay.
So now do they go around the center because they went, or do they peel going for the blank, right? There we go.
Yeah, Schwaller is going to be happy to play for a blank this end, take hammer into the second end.
Dan, did you see the new rule with the Grand Slam of curling, 1 blank per game?
Yeah, I've seen it. It'll be interesting to see how it pans out. You know, the purpose of changing these rules is to try to make watching the games, try to add a little bit of excitement when watching the games. We'll see if that's what it actually does. I have thought for a while that with all the changes we've had, that if you did want to generate some sort of, or you know, bring a different perspective to the game, would be to have teams lose hammer on a blank, or have hammer switch on a blank. They're allowing 1 blank per team, and so this is kind of that concept. And, you know, there could be a few variations of how to do it, but it'll be interesting. I think they'll probably end up with more rocks in play.
Yeah, it will be interesting. It's interesting to see at the highest level in the Grand Slam, you'll see a blank that didn't look like it was going to start out as a blank. It still is quite complicated, and then you end up with a double run back takeout that ends up clearing up the end. And I think it's interesting because the typical blanks don't always unfold in a rock in the forefoot and you hit all end. But
exactly, yeah.
I do think that there's going to be a new strategic element of when do you take your blank, and you're going to have to call differently in order to sort of preserve your right to take your blank later in the game too.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be interesting, and much like the no-tick rule that was introduced at the Slam to start with, it ended up being adopted on a wide scale. So it's a viewership play for now, but it'll be interesting to see if that ends up becoming a rule at the World Curling Federation level.
Well, yeah, and what's interesting, you make a good point there, Riley, is that you talk about people they're gonna have to be strategic about when they use their blank. Right now, end number 1 is probably one of the more common ends to blank, probably followed up by end number 7 or in an 8 end game, or end number 9 in a 10 end game. I imagine that teams aren't going to be using their blank in the first end, even if their option is to take 1. I think more teams will probably just say, no, I don't want to waste my blank now. I'd rather be forced to 1 here than use the blank. So even if it happened to end up as an open end, they'll probably just take their point and save that blank later. At least that's my prediction on how it's going to go. We'll see how it pans out.
Agreed. I think the biggest change that you'll see in every game is that teams will be aggressive off the bat. That's just a prediction, but you want to reserve your right to use that blank if you can in an odd end later in the game. And in our game, we're seeing that pesky outside biter come into play. It's not biting, but they are playing to the wing.
It's that one they're going to try and corner freeze to this, and if you do, it's going to be a really tough rock to get rid of because of that kind of guard out there. Even now, even though that's not a perfect freeze, that's a tough rock to get rid of.
Yep, you have 2 options to play it a little bit lighter and try to sort of tap it out, or just hammer it, and even if it jams, the back one will go. Early in a game, when you don't really know what the ice is going to do, you see teams elect to throw it a bit harder, which is what we're seeing here. So I think the thought here is that you're going to try to catch as much of it as you can past the guard, but even if it jams, you're going to have to throw enough weight that you roll the yellow out. So let's see if this nicks it or if she's able to get it past. But I don't think you can hit it without nicking the back one with this kind of weight.
Yeah, you'd have to be you'd have to just get by that top one.
And you're going to lose your sweeper.
Yeah. Looks like
There we go.
there you go. Yep, rolled into the open. And if you are joining us here on this live stream this morning, thank you. And some of you may be watching through the Curling Zone YouTube channel. Some of you may be doing it through the Okotoks Curling Club channel, but either way, we appreciate it. If you are watching us through Curling Zone, we would ask that you consider at some point hopping over to the Okotoks Curling Club YouTube channel, hitting like and subscribe. You can see all the draws from remaining in this Autumn Gold event on our channel, and you will also be alerted to our other events that we have coming up. We have a big one coming up in January when we are going to have the hosting the men's and women's provincials for Alberta. We go with a hit and roll attempt, trying to leave just a little, and it just rolls out, and this is going to leave Schwaller with just a free throw through the rings. So again, I would predict that in the slam, if a first end unfolded this way, not that they would have called it this way, but in this scenario, I would predict that the teams are going to draw into the house and not use the blank in this situation. Obviously, they've called the end this way, so it wouldn't quite unfold that way. But
Agreed. I think that teams will want to have the option to use it later in the game. And it's interesting, so you see this rock as just a free throw through the rings, but you try to learn something with every shot, even when you get the chance to take a blank. So you saw her on the center line, inside out through a 10. Sometimes the center line can be a bit tricky, so it's interesting to see that that's the inside out that they wanted to see.
all right, so it's a blank end to start us off here in this B semifinal, coming to you from the Autumn Gold at the Okotoks Curling Club.
Out there, so. Squat. Para Pierre. Float.
And number 2 after the first end was blank, so Schwaller retains hammer.
Yeah. I still think, yeah, top 4.
So interesting, we see Schwaller change their strategy here, going around the center.
Maybe 3 feet on.
Yeah, they're probably it's an even end. A lot of teams like to score in those even ends, try and maintain hammer, try and flip hammer, so that of course the long game is to have hammer when you're coming home in the 8th end.
Yeah, absolutely.
Megan Edwards is joining us here on the live stream. Hello, Megan. In the chat, I should say. And if you are watching, please say hello. We love hearing from you. Love to know where you're from. Of course, we have one team from Scotland, one team from Switzerland here, so don't know if anyone in Europe is watching, but please say hello if you are.
year for international competition with the Olympics coming up. We've got Team Morrison here, who will be the representatives for Great Britain in Italy in the late winter in February, so that's exciting for them. And they're being skipped at the moment by Jen Dodds, who is a Olympic gold medalist from 22 with Eve Muirhead. So
Yeah, we have a few teams playing in this event that are going to be at the Olympics. We have, of course, the host team, Constantini. They're going to be there. We have a second Swiss team in this event, and that is Tiranzoni. They're going to be at the Olympics. I believe we have the representative of Japan also. Yoshimura, yeah.
And
Gim from Korea, yeah. We've got a few Olympians, and of course, some of these people have been to the Olympics already. Possibly, we could. It has not been determined who Canada's Olympic representative is. So,
very true, Dan. As of right now, on the Grand Slam of curling, they show which nations have the representatives and who they are. And right now, Canada is the only one that's TBD. Of course, there's still the Olympic qualification event to come up, so a few more nations might be joining the pot. But in terms of the confirmed nations, Canada is the only one that is yet to choose the representative. So I know Canadian curling fans are waiting eagerly for the roar of the rings to see who will be our representative.
Well, we still have to determine one more team who's going to be playing in that Olympic trials. We have the pre-trials coming up. So,
and that is no joke, because it's happened where the team that comes through the pre-trials ends up winning the whole thing. So it truly is anyone's game at this point, although there are the favorites.
I think there's probably, if Vegas was involved in placing some odds, there'd be some odds placed on certain individuals. And the new format, it's not going to be a single game final. The final is going to be, in that Olympic trials, is going to be a best 2 out of 3. Which is the first time we've seen that at a trials or for any of the major Canadian events. At least in my recollection, I can't ever remember there being a best 2 out of 3 for a Canadian title.
How do you feel about that change?
I kind of get why they're doing it for that particular event. I guess what the format is, there's going to be a complete round robin. 3 teams will advance to playoffs. Second plays third in single elimination. And I guess the rationale for switching to that is, you don't want that. Some team runs the table in the round robin. They get the first place spot. They're in the final. They have at this level, really, you have a couple of bad shots, and you're not the representative anymore. And I guess the question is that the team we ought to be sending? Should we choose not to send that team just because of that scenario? And there's a case to be made, but my personal feeling is I guess I'm open to seeing to it. I'm always open to trying new things. I understand the rationale, and I'm okay with it. I mean, there is something to be said of once you get to the Olympics, you get into that medal round. There's no, it's not a page playoff. There's not a best 2 out of 3. You get into your semifinal, and you've got to win 2 sudden death games. So we want somebody who is capable of doing that. I guess I'm open to trying it. Is how I feel. That's a very long way of answering your question there, Riley, but
no, I
was just trying to explain my thought process.
I think everything you've said makes sense. The way I feel is that we look at really most major sports, NFL or NHL, baseball, you see a playoff type format, the Super Bowl being an exception to that, but we want to send our best team, and I think that having it be a best 2 out of 3 is the best chance to eliminate, crazy ice conditions for a game, or one team has a bad game but it's really uncharacteristic. I think that it's probably the best way to try to, there's no guarantees, but our best chance at sending our best team.
Yeah.
That being said, though, you make a good point that, when you roll around to the Olympics, it won't be that case, and you will have to deal with sort of a sudden death situation. The Olympic gold medal is not best 2 out of 3, but when I heard the rule, I was definitely in favor of it, because I do think it gives us the best chance of being able to send our best team while still maintaining the Canadian tradition of having to play for the right and not selecting a team.
Yeah. And we could pick up this thought in a moment. We just want to acknowledge here that Morrison is attempting a little soft hit and I think roll, maybe even just a nose hit. Yep, pretty much a nose hit, and is now sitting 3 with 2 of the rocks behind T. So still opportunity here for Schwaller to, lots of opportunity to generate lots of offense, but we definitely have a lot more action happening in this end than the previous one.
Yeah, it's an interesting, I would say maybe even though there's 3 yellow rocks in play, Schwaller maybe has the up here if they can make a really great shot. That top red rock is quite dangerous. It can act as a guard, but also can be used to push back into the pile. So if they can make a good one here, I think they'll have Morrison in a bit of trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, Morrison sitting 3, but we could be a couple shots away from a big turnaround here just in the positioning of those stones. If they can get a bit of a roll here, and it looks like it's going to be fairly close to nose. They just shimmied over a little bit. I think it's, from the thrower's perspective, probably still, you can see just the full rock.
Be interesting to see what they elect here.
They talked about the hit or the draw, and they are playing the hit. The danger with playing the draw, it's like you said, you're starting to leave a lot of red rocks around, and you don't have hammer. So I think the hit is the call. Can't really double those reds off though, because you're running something back into a yellow. You got a jam situation. So.
And I mean, even this hit anywhere on the outside, you've got to be really careful. And
then she might. Oh, this is going to be close.
Might skinny it. Yeah.
Oh.
That's okay.
Yeah, got that back one out of the way, which is, now that one's not going to end up counting.
As long as nothing jams into it, it's still in play. But
look in there, they're just going to play. I don't know if that was a hit and roll call or if it was a double.
We'll be able to tell when we see how hard she slides out here. That's a double.
Yeah.
Right on that center line. This is close. Oh.
No, it gets the double.
Nice shot.
My first thought was the freeze. Purely because we have this one here as well. I suppose I could come back here. It's not terrible yet.
No, they're electing to draw.
Yeah, that was Jen's first thought, but I think we know this better. Like if we
And often here it comes down to what the skip is seeing. There can be a right and a wrong call maybe on paper, but if your skip is saying, I'm feeling it and I'm going to make that draw and I'm going to put pressure on, it makes a lot of sense to go with that. And sometimes your skip will be right and sometimes they'll be wrong, but if you can rely on what they're feeling, you make a lot of shots that way. But your team needs to be open to hearing the options, including the skip. And it sounds like the first thought from the team was the freeze, but they're going here. It looks like this double is what they're playing.
Whoa. Clean. Yep. Whoa. Yep.
It's got to be close.
Shot, Jen.
And
Nice.
avoids the jam. Yep. Now all of a sudden, it's looking like this could end up being another blank end.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying earlier. It did not look like a blank
Yeah.
4 rocks ago, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is an example of, and there's still several shots to come. But I mean, now the potential for a blank is there, and it's like you said, this is an end that could be blanked, but it has been an exciting end. I think some of us have the picture of the blank ends that we used to see, well, before your time,
Pat
right?
Ryan.
where you just used to see a rock go in the rings, and
Yeah.
then just peel, hit, peel, and you saw that for 7 ends.
Yeah.
Ja, it's yeah.
Schwaller attempting the double here, slash double. Shooter would probably roll top 12 to the side, to the left side of the skip there, or of the third, I should say. Oh, she's over curled here. This is going to be just a nose hit. And now with Team Morrison,
That's what I'm thinking too.
Dodds here with the attempt to make a draw and play a force.
This is an opportunity to put a lot of pressure on. It seems like it's a free throw. You just had a miss, but you really want to bear down and make a shot like this if you can put it in the 4-foot and force her to make either a run back against 2 or a draw to the button. These are the opportunities that you really want to capitalize on if you can.
Yeah, at this point, Team Morrison is looking for somebody to score a point here. They're not going to be fussed over which one of them it is. What they don't want is to miss this draw or to leave this in some place where the possibility of a blank comes back in.
Okay, got Max line right
They
now.
want to see a 1 go up on the board. I mean, they would take their 2, but I mean, I think they're realistically expecting a 1 to go up on the board, one way or the other.
Absolutely.
Line's good.
This is a familiar shot, the draw for Jen.
Call now. Hard call. Whoa, 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 whoa. Good, Jen.
And there you go. And Team Schwaller broom down right away. Just got to get majority of the 8-foot.
Piece of 4-foot. Zo staat erop gespeeld. Ja, was een bakje vol. Oké. Aber er hat 14 Minuten.
And from my,
Da jetzt? Ja. Aber
if I put my Ice Tech hat on here, we talking to Mike Libis today, we did notice that in some of these pregame practices, those brooms were just a little closer to the center line this morning. So it was suggests a slightly less curl.
Luca, 4-2.
We made note of that. We're going to see if we can do anything about that in between draws. Don't want to give too much away here, but we have noticed, just we're talking about a few inches less, and this might not make the rings here.
15-8, let's see, yeah.
No, comes up short, and well, there's that steal of 2 that I said that Morrison wasn't expecting, and I guarantee you they even as Schwaller got in the hack, they weren't expecting that. But a steal of 2 by Morrison to go up 2-0 after 2 ends of this B semifinal of the Autumn Gold, coming to you from the Okotoks Curling Club. And number 3 here of this B semifinal of the Autumn Gold Curling Classic. And after Schwaller comes up short on a draw, Morrison steals 2. And Schwaller is going to probably not be looking for a blank this end. Definitely going to be trying to generate some offense.
It's the first corner guard we've seen thrown. It's always interesting when you're playing around the corner and there's stuff going on in the middle, because you know you're going to have to deal with it at some point. This actually works out okay.
Yeah, it does. Ends up being a freeze.
And you can't hit it either. Not that you would, but...
Yeah, I think the first speed with a slightly better release will be really close.
It'll be interesting to see if Morrison is willing to play with a lot of rocks and play their 2 up without the hammer, but we see them going around here, and it'll be interesting to see if they're just going to guard all end, keep the pressure on.
Yeah, I imagine they're they don't at the moment. They're probably just going to try and force Schwaller's hand here. I can't see them getting too risky. I mean, they've got the 2-point lead. They'd be happy to surrender a point here and get their hammer and a point lead. And you know, my approach to a situation like this, being in number 3, I'd be. I would be quite happy to give them a point, and my tolerance, of course, would be it's okay to give up 2. Definitely don't want to bring 3 into play, but being tied, playing end number 4 with hammer is, you know, when you're thinking of the grand scheme of things, is a pretty good spot to be in. Okay. So.
Yeah, so we do see that guard coming in. Halfway, which is a bit higher than the rock that was just peeled. You want to have as much separation to make it running into the pile a little bit difficult.
Yeah.
And also putting it in such a place that they can't make the run back and get rid of the guard. A bit deeper than they were hoping for, so this run back, I think Schwaller will be happy to have the chance to try it again.
Yeah, she can get 4 rocks moving here. Won't get rid of 4 rocks, but she can change the position of 4 rocks here.
And you're hitting the guard a bit off nose, which means that you'll be taking it off the center line.
There you go. Yeah, that's pretty good. And yep, with both yellows getting out of the house. Wasn't sure if the second one was going to go, but it did squirt out there. Red rock in the rings. This is kind of interesting. That is a biter, and Morrison is going to ignore it for now and just draw around. So we'll see if that biter comes into play at the end.
Yeah, my guess is the thinking. If you hit that, it's like putting up, like keeping the corner for Schwaller, but you would be able to run it if they did draw around. So it's an interesting call, an aggressive call, I would say. Want this as deep as in the rings without being behind the tee as you can.
Good serve.
I don't think they're looking at the run here. I think you're just looking at going, oh, maybe she is. Okay, she did look.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where my comment on separation, trying to keep them as far apart as possible to make the run a bit more difficult.
Kanske probera chase men
Yeah, they're talking about the chase. Fortunately, fortunately for us, when they are speaking, they keep some of the curling lingo in English so we can understand.
Yep.
The curling jargon stays in English, and they are going to go with this chase, which is what I thought that they would do, because this keeps that second or that biter in play.
Yes.
You know, if they were to play the short run, it's probably an easier shot, but you're not. Your shooter isn't going to end up in the rings, and I think they want to keep this in the rings. Should you ever shave, if you play the quiet weight, if you ever shave that guard, you can probably keep your shooter in the rings, which is what they, I don't know, now they're trying to carve it, get it by. Looks like they've navigated this pretty well here.
12-1.
Yep. What a great shot that is.
Beautiful.
Yep, that's just the weight you want, just enough to push it through. Like you saw that Schwaller had to sweep that behind the T-line to make sure it got out. You want to just get it out. Because like I said, if they ever just ticked that guard, that shooter would have gone into the rings, and it would still add a red rock into the rings, and it would expose the shot rock.
So the original call was to go around, which is quite aggressive with 2 red rocks, but I think the team's now elected to hit and maybe take their medicine here, hope for a rollout. But if it all plays out in the way you would expect, this will be a 2 for Schwaller.
Yeah, even a nose hit here, you're not really trying to roll yet. Play your nose hit, get that rock a little higher up in the rings, because it'll be shot. Schwaller's going to have to deal with it in some capacity. I mean, you can get really aggressive and just try and draw here, but I don't think you would. They're going to play it pretty simple. So what you're seeing here is that Schwaller's now going to try and set up for what's a basic deuce, or some people call it the junior deuce, and just keep the rock separated. And Morrison is just going to wait for a right opportunity to probably get that rock to roll behind cover there. It's still a little deep. It's getting close now. Now you could consider trying to make the roll here, and she is, yeah. But it would be behind the T-line.
And I think that you'll see if she does roll behind the T-line, depending on if Schwaller plays the run or freezes to it. That's okay, because Morrison will just freeze back down and try to eliminate that rock at the top. So I don't think they're too concerned it's behind the T-line, as long as they have the chance to then cut down the scoring area. But we'll see what Schwaller elects to do if this is made. Not a lot of ice.
Yep. Yep. Whoa. No. Clean. Yep. Yep. Yep.
Get a roll. Where's it going to roll to? Ooh, it's
Gotta
probably
say.
a little farther than they wanted it to roll. Yep. So now, do you draw around cover, or do you keep it out there in the open? This is drawing around cover. You're bringing 3 into play. However, you're also bringing a double into play.
Or if you see, like, they've indicated a few times wanting to draw around, I think if you're ever a little deep, Morrison might elect to freeze on you. And so I think here they're saying, let's just take our 2.
Yeah.
Even it up. Let's not gamble with that risk. Either of the double being made or the freeze.
Yeah, it's kind of tempting to think about trying to bring 3 into play, but you know, I try and put the mindset of when you gave up that steal, the moment you gave up that steal, if you said, okay, you're going to get 2 back in the next end, you'd be pretty happy with that. So keep that mindset before you get greedy, you know.
Agreed. Going back to basic principles, we're always taught what's acceptable, what's desirable, and what's unacceptable. It'd be unacceptable for this to end up in a blank or a force.
Yeah.
So, you know, you could go for your 3, but if you can get yourself back on even ground, like that is a win for sure.
Yep.
And it's early. The conversation might be different if this was the 6th end, right?
Yeah, we're probably throwing 9 this time.
And you could see that they were sweeping that to the back of the house. The rationale there is they don't want Morrison to make a good hit and roll. What I mean by that is one that would be above tee. So now, this makes a pretty precise hit and roll, and you're probably still going to have a chance to chase.
Yep. And they played the chase last end, so they have or maybe that was this end. But
It was this end.
They
Yeah.
have the understanding of what that's going to do in that spot.
Yep. Whoa! Whoa!
And it looks like she's not going to roll it nearly as far as she had hoped. So this is going to be simple hit and stick. We say simple. It's not always that simple.
Electing again inside out. So they did this in the first end. Morrison played outside in, and then they immediately played inside out. So just interesting. You usually see teams playing outside in when they get the choice, but
Yeah. You know, I say this a lot of times on this commentary. What are the 2 shots you need to make as a skip?
a draw to the 8-foot and a hit and stick.
It's hit and stick, yeah. I
That's
would
a
say
Wayne
draw to. I
Vidal.
would say draw to the 4-foot probably is.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to draw and hit and stick.
You've got to do the simple things,
Yeah.
Ro.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, you got to stand on your head. But
Yeah. But you know, when you make those simple ones, it's a lot less often that you got to stand on your head.
Agreed. Agreed.
Usually, if you have to stand on your head, you probably missed a draw to the 4-foot or a hit and stick at some point. And no missing here, hit and stick. Game is tied at 2 after 3 ends of the B semifinal of the Autumn Gold Curling Classic, coming to you from the Okotoks Curling Club.
Line's good. Line's good! Line's good! T, genau T. Sehr schön.
Das war gerade Kreuz gewesen.
Ja. Ja, 4-1.
I will see another corner. I'm gonna same ice for this one. Mine's good. I liked it so. Carve! Carve!
Spijt is oké, nou die grap niet.
Okay.
Zal de huis niet gaan.
Yasha?
All right, and number 4 here in a tie game with Morrison having hammer, and we've got a this is like a strategy board setup here. We've got the center line, it's just a little off center, but the near center line guard with a rock behind it, and a corner guard with a rock behind it.
Pretty textbook, Dan.
Yeah.
I'm always so interested to see how teams deal with the middle when they elect to go around the corner.
Yeah.
If you have a corner, you want to use it, but then you've got to deal with the middle at some point.
And that's a really high and wide corner. That rock that's in the 12-foot is probably about half exposed. But Schwaller is going to ignore it and put a center line guard up, double guard it.
I'm good with either.
6th rock of the end, so all hits allowed
Just
now.
roll to the corner, it's also not bad.
Dodd's looking at a run here, probably trying to get, well, definitely trying to get at least 2 moving here, but this is not a straight peel call.
Yep.
Oh, don't want to get wide and jam.
It's interesting. You could hear the discussion in the hack. Rolling to a corner would have been okay, but if you were going to make the double peel or roll to a corner, you needed to catch more of that rock.
Yeah, I think if you were going to roll to a corner, you'd want to roll the other way. You could almost play it as a straight hit and roll and leave yourself 2 guards on the other side, guarding your rock that's already in the rings. So Schwaller's just going to keep putting up guards for a while. Trying to carve it a little bit over. It's and there you go. If you see the position of these rocks, it's really it's tough to double peel here. You can get rid of, you can play a double, but you're probably leaving your shooter around. I think she's a bit wide on this one again too.
And last one went over, that one went under.
It went under, yeah.
It's interesting when you get in this position, you just kind of wailing away at the middle, but
yeah,
you try to be mindful of getting the most you can out of each attempt at it.
Yeah, and Schwaller's going to be quite happy to just keep replacing that guard. They probably would prefer it to be just a little higher up, because you got to figure that Morrison's going to make one of these at some point.
Looks like this is going to be deep, so they're playing. Oh, it'll actually be okay. A bit deep.
Yeah, it's definitely a little deeper. Of course, they were carving it for the line. They were more concerned about line than depth. Probably would have liked that a little bit higher.
Yeah, sometimes when you're watching, you might be thinking, oh my God, why are they sweeping that?
Yeah.
And often it is for the line, even if the weight, that's a little bit deeper. But on that shot, the line is more important than the depth.
I think they're taking a shot at getting all 3 moving here. It looks like that's a possibility.
Got 2. All right.
Got 2, left a guard though. Now this is going to be interesting. Do you go after the one in the rings or do you just keep guard? Okay, bit of a risk here. They're talking about coming in. Schwaller is. The risk here is that with that now being a yellow guard is that they could run, Morrison could run yellow in, play a double, and sit 2 guarded.
Yeah, that, you made the double peel but left your rock there, but the benefit is that you've exchanged the color. It's yellow now, right?
It's the right color now if you're Morrison. So the more conservative play would be to get rid of that yellow one that's on the side.
You got to know what your tolerance is on this shot. And that's executed well.
Yeah, good execution, but I think we're going to see the run back attempt here. Yeah. Hair low. Hair low looks like it's going to leave a red in play from this perspective here, but we'll see. I've been proven wrong on these before.
They're trying to cross the face of that red, right? Oh, interesting turn.
Well, no, I think that is the out. They're just taking negative ice on these. Their releases here. Trying to go hair low, pretty much. They were hair high.
Good throw, so.
Okay. So same thing. Are you getting later in the end? Are you going to keep that pressure on? If your Schwaller looks, they even down to skip stones here.
And you know what? I like the confidence here. If she's going around, she had her miss in the second end, but you got to be able as a skip to sort of shake those off and say, I'm going to make the next one. And so I'd love to see her put another one in here.
Well, and it says something about her confidence, but it's also it's not about whether. The point I make is not whether Schwaller is going to make the shot or not. Let's assume she makes it perfectly. It's whether Morrison follows up with a perfect shot. So that there's one thing to have confidence in what you're doing, but it's what do you are you playing it to force your opponent to make this the perfect shot, and if they do, what does it leave you? So, but I mean, that's part of the game, is just saying, you might get 2 on me here, but I'm going to make it difficult. I'm going to give you an opportunity for 2, but I'm going to make it a tough shot, which slightest miss could result in me getting 1.
Yeah, you have to decide how much pressure you want to put on. And often putting pressure on comes with risk.
Yeah. I think that's about as well as you could have placed that rock.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Yeah. Give you minimum and we can sweep it back.
It's hard to compare the way they're throwing the rock because Morrison is doing everything outside in but taking negative ice.
Yeah.
And Schwaller's doing everything inside out and taking more ice. So potentially the Morrison rocks curl a little less, but it's also, that could be a difference in release, but it also might just be the turns that they're choosing to play.
Yeah, it is a very difference in release. Like, to me, that looks like they're setting up for an in-turn, but you see quite the set there. You can see that moving a few inches out of their hand. It might be a little too low. It's going to clip 1.
Okay.
And just gets it out.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, this is big decision here.
And it's not perfectly guarded anymore. So
No.
you have to sort of what we call Christmas tree them, which is, you get it under in such a way that you can't remove both. But
Hast du nicht ganz? Was meinst du da? 3/4.
Looks like they are considering chasing because when
Nein,
they
so viel nicht ganz.
move that rock a little bit, right?
Yeah.
You can see a little more now of that yellow rock.
Aber weißt du nicht, dass man dann die Zeitrolle da nachher steht und sie hat einen Doppel?
Du kommst dem nur an, wenn du ihn knapp hast.
Weißt du, wir müssen ihn so treffen zum Rollen. Dann ist da hinten gut. Oder was meinst du? Dass er ankommt, ja. Das 11? Findest du gut?
11. Okay. Gut, schon in die Mitte. Ja.
Sie ist gut so.
Ich finde es gut, ja.
Electing to chase here. Sweeping a curl and now straight. It's got to be close.
And they're not really concerned about any kind of a roll there. There's no double net plane. Mission accomplished here in playing the force here. They're throwing, Don's electing to throw some weight at this.
Yeah, playing in Okotoks, one of the keys to success is your sort of broom to weight ratio. You have to throw the weight that you call.
Yeah.
And if you are playing that nice, like what Schwaller just played, that 11 and a half, you do get the movement. But if you ice for that and you overthrow it, you'll go by the whole thing. So let's see if she plays the weight here that she needs to make this shot.
Clean!
Watch the center
Whoa!
line.
Whoa! Clean! Whoa! Yeah! Clean! Clean! Clean!
And
That's
she's
beautiful.
got this made. So
Nice shot.
Morrison forced to one here, gets their one, and takes a 3-2 lead at the half of this B semifinal of the Autumn Gold Curling Classic, coming to you from the Okotoks Curling Club. they're going to be waiting around to figure out who they got to play tomorrow. They've got some practice ice designated for later tonight here. When we it'll be after draw 3 when we actually have an empty sheet available, because we've been going with 6 games on every draw. This is draw number 9 of 6 full games happening. We're really excited to be here at the Okotoks Curling Club to be hosting the Autumn Gold for the first time. A very historic event. This event has been quite the staple of competitive women's curling in Western Canada. Have hosted teams from all around the world. We've had world champions, Olympians, national champions come through this event over the years, and we're really honored to be the host for the 2025 version of this.
Absolutely. And I know that the first time I played in this event, I was maybe 21, and I walk into the change room, and there's Eve Muirhead on one side and Jennifer Jones on the other, and it's like, oh boy. Well, welcome to the big leagues. So it's great that some younger teams have the opportunity to play in this event as well. They get exposure to absolute world-class curling. We see both of the U of C varsity, the varsity and junior varsity teams were competing in this event, and so cool to see that the Dinos now have a U Sports team. It's just huge for curling in Southern Alberta. So the fact that we have a program down here led by such incredible coaches, the likes of Jocelyn Peterman as program director and Shannon Clybrink's involvement with that, and Brett Gallant as a skills coach, Lainey Peters, Heather Rogers, and some great assistant coaches there too. So.
Well, that's going on our other stream. Is our we've got 2 university teams. We've got a U of C versus U of A going on, and then that's a C event game going on our other stream. Let's just see what's happening over there. If I can get a, it's 4-2 for Richards, which is the U of A team after 7. Yeah, playing against. In seven, and playing against Lila Cooey, skipping the team from UFC. There's 2 UFC teams, and we've got sisters playing, and one on each team. I was asking the older sister, how do you distinguish it? They were trying to come up with a name to distinguish it, and one suggested for the younger team call them the baby dinos, but I don't know if that's going to stick. We will see. You heard it here first, though.
Baby dinos.
The baby dinos for the younger version of the UFC team, but
I've also heard them speak about the slam, the slam that's U15 and U21 maybe, as the baby slam as well.
Oh, okay.
So. Is it U15 and?
There's a U25.
Okay, U25 and
yeah.
U15 then, yeah. Great shot over there. So all our qualms about whether or not they'd be able to get rid of the rocks and be able to blank this end, I mean, it's looking like Morrison's grand plan may just work out here. The discussion, it's an open end here, just one yellow rock in the rings, but they're trying to decide, are we going to let this just be a blank exactly like Morrison wants? The only other thing you could do, like you could maybe freeze to that rock or throw up a guard, but...
and this all comes down to, what do you prefer to be? Would you rather be one down with or one up without coming home?
Exactly. And so we're seeing this.
And how hard is your conviction about being in either situation? If you're, if you just have a slight edge one way or the other, you're not going to take any chances here. You're just going to hit this out. And if you're Schwaller and say, yeah, we'll be one up without coming home. But if you really want to hammer here, you're going to take a little bit of a risk. You're going to play a freeze or a guard, or put another one in the rings, and then make Morrison have to say, well, are you really going to miss up, not take the opportunity to score your 2 here?
Yeah, and I saw that in the McMillan-Rana game that I watched yesterday, where it was a situation like this. It was maybe only the 3rd or 4th end, and they played the freeze that early. But they said on Skip's first rock, they played the freeze on the open shot, and that ended up in a force. So we do see teams doing it, and I'm seeing it more now than I ever have. But
and of course, if you were in a limited blank situation, this would be probably a different discussion.
Because they would be forced to take their run, so you wouldn't need to take this risk necessarily.
What's your preference, Riley?
To be one down with one up without, or
one down with?
I mean, one down with, I would probably prefer, because when you're one down with the hammer, you have your deuce possibility, and if that doesn't work out, you should be able to score your 1 and force the extra, right? And I think that the stats are slightly better to be one down with the hammer versus without.
Oh, and she's made the double peel here, so great shot. And so now it's pretty simple. You're just not much to decide here. Just put it somewhere in the house, and probably going to look at a blank here, yeah.
Schwaller was not rewarded for her risk, but she was also not punished for it.
Yeah.
So it turns out to be exactly the same as if she had just nose hit that rock. Other than she does get a free draw attempt here, whereas she would have had to probably hit the yellow if she had hit on her first.
A little curl out here on the 9 and 10, so I would say the same ice. Yep. Just to hair off the outside of the stone. Yep. Definitely coming down a bit, that's 14-5.
I got a 15-5 on that draw, and
right.
so 7th end, it's still keen. Okotoks is known for having beautiful keen ice, and
Well, thank you.
yeah, I've played here many times. I've always enjoyed playing here, and
You've played on this sheet before, haven't you? At some point, you've had a this. You have a little bit of history on sheet 2 of the Okotoks Curling Club. Has something happened?
Yeah, this was a special sheet for me. It's where I won my my U18 provincial championship is on sheet 2. And speaking about beautiful draws, beautiful draw weight, I was able, it was a 15-5 when I hit the forefoot in the last end to win that game. But not to say that I did that, but just that I knew the ice conditions were so beautiful that I could rely on that and made the shot. And yeah, good memories here.
And here we are with a blank end. Morrison is going to retain hammer, but be down 1 heading home in this B semifinal of the Autumn Gold Curling Classic, coming to you from the Okotoks Curling Club.
Their setup's perfect. It's just because their setup's not been perfect. Yeah, but I did miss my 3rd shot. I think if we'd made that, it would be much better. So see how the setup is. That was really funny. I tried not to laugh because the music. I was like, it sounded like you were doing when you're on hold. Yeah. It was that kind of music, and I was just standing by myself, just like, what? It was like dead silence. And then that, and I was like, what is going on? I saw. Weiter. Ja. Oh dear. Genau. T-Line! T-Line! Vorne 4!
4. Ganz 4. Ganz 4. Ganz 4.
Right. Where is that, Jen?
All right, here we are coming into the last end of regulation play. Schwaller not having hammer, does with but a 1-point lead, does the center line guard and come around, while Morrison trying to set up a deuce, throws the high corner. And now it looks like they're going to try to follow that draw. They're going to probably playing a freeze here. Got to be careful. Cannot tick that guard off the center line on this shot. Got to make sure you clear it.
Interesting, in an earlier end in this setup, they went around the corner versus coming to the middle.
They're actually drawn. I don't know if that was the call or if that was plan B there.
I'd be surprised if that was the call.
Yeah.
Sorry, so.
And now they're going to follow it down.
Feel the difference in the throws, right?
I mean, that is a way to manufacture too, is to just go deep. I mean, doesn't matter where your two are. Just it just kind of makes it tough when you're trying to remove rocks.
And I mean, Schwaller, I think, they've got a front and a back guard here, if you think about it that way.
Schwaller would be okay giving up a single here and taking hammer into the extra end. Really good rock management there.
And that's what I mean about front and back guards, right? That yellow rock was to Schwaller's advantage, because now that red rock is not going anywhere.
Don't know if we can get to that.
I actually like that initial call here. You play.
Probably a tap on that,
Yeah. Try and split that.
Yeah.
You're trying to get set up here. You got to be patient in these situations. Try and split the red. Push it to one side. Your shooter goes to the other side. You're trying to create pockets and backing. The miss here is tight, and so that you tick that guard over. Being wide and rubbing off that back red isn't going to help you.
No, agreed.
So probably looking at a back line to just through weight. Yeah, I think you want to be less than hack. You'd love to push that that red rock just kind of outside the 4 foot if you could.
Yeah, throwing the right weight here is so critical.
Whoa! Close!
real close here.
Whoa!
Looks real good.
Hard, John!
And just kind of like that.
Yeah, it's a nice shot. 12-8, didn't
Yeah,
overthrow
just
it.
outside the 4 foot
Yeah.
there. And yeah,
And also, if you ever do end up going around your corner, it maybe would have been nice to push it an extra rock, but
Ganz vier,
my
ja.
guess is that corner won't be too much in play based on where the center guard is.
yeah.
Well, would you rather be Schwaller or Morrison right now in this setup?
I think that there's you know what? This is one of these ends where probably the advantage is going to just keep going back and forth. I think there's a slight edge to Morrison at this moment, but you notice that like Morrison's not eliminating rocks. She knows that, or sorry, Schwaller's not eliminating rocks. She knows that this is now going to be all offense because of where because of where these rocks are now positioned all behind the tee line there. So it should be an entertaining end for us here to finish off this game. If it ends up being the final end, even we don't know this.
Yeah.
This could easily end up being an extra end here.
So it's interesting. They're playing it through this port, and that's a hard port to draw through, but the advantage for the way that they are throwing the rock is they throw it with that nice rotation, right?
Yeah.
So as long as they skinny that yellow guard, it shouldn't curl so much that they hit the red, but you only have the ability to make this shot if you throw it with the rotation that these teams throw it with.
Yeah, the goal here is to not be scraping by the red rock that's on the center line, but by the yellow one that's the high corner there.
Line's good! Line's good! Yep! Whoa! Whoa! No, Jen! No!
And there you go.
Carl!
So they're going to get by that red one by quite a bit. Just
Hard,
might
hard,
be a
hard, hard,
little
hard.
heavier than they wanted
keep
it to
going,
be.
keep going, keep
No,
going.
this is really good.
Good, so.
Real nice shot there. Yeah.
I counted between 7 to 8 rotations on
Yeah.
that rock.
Yeah, they're not stingy on the spin there.
No, but you saw it behaved really nicely.
Yeah.
Nice gradual curl. It didn't snap on them. And so the Schwaller team will have gone to school on that one and see if they can replicate it here. They make this perfect. Morrison could be a bit hooped.
Linje. Hij zwiet. Hard. Terug, kom.
Hanging. It's got a curl for them.
They're starting to come now. They're going to get it by. They will. Just need to stay on that with the carve.
Yeah, it's
And nice follow there. Looks. I'm gonna get Dead-Eye Deb on that. I think it's red. Okay, there we go. Yeah, Deb called it. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Okay, looking at a hit and roll here. This would be the first hit we've seen this end,
every rock still in play.
and I think it's did she?
I'd like to kind of throw like close to back line.
Oh, they're not. They're just gonna come right at it.
Back 12.
They may have figured they couldn't
13.
see enough of the inside of that yellow rock to get the desired roll.
They'd just like to jumble the angles a little bit if they can, I think.
No.
Get to the inside
No.
of that red. It should curl
No.
enough.
Close. Whoa. Go.
With the one sweeper,
Go.
she has to
Carve. Carve.
hop
Carve.
around the rock here. I don't think they're going to get to the nose of this.
Carve.
Not
Hard, hard,
quite.
hard.
Maybe just to the nose. Good carve there. That is Red is still shot at the moment, but not in a good position.
Precarious situation for
yeah.
Red right now.
Yeah.
And you were right about the end advantage going back and forth here.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Even though even though Schwaller has hammer, or sorry, Schwaller is shot right now. I would say the advantage is to Team Morrison at this moment, and not just to score, but I mean to get a deuce.
They're 2, 3, and 4. The nice thing about when they're looking at this sort of ticking off is that Morrison on the last shot would have had to play it with more weight to get the result they wanted. Here you would just be ticking off to nestle in there, right? So this shot is actually a bit different, a bit more favorable than if Morrison had tried it on their last. As a lefty, it looks pretty nice for me, but as a righty, you have a little less space, but definitely makeable with the right weight.
I think you got to do the in off on this, and you have
Well, they've been playing that soft, nice weight all game, right? It's not like a total guess. We've been seeing lots of those backline hack type shots, and they haven't been cranking too hard. They've been nice gradual curls. So
I think you want to roll right beside your other red one there.
Agreed. You just want to nestle right in there.
It is going to set up some backing. Like you're not out of the woods by making this shot, but you're making Morrison have to work harder.
Looks a little big to me.
Oh, they're already carving this. This is.
It looks like a bit of an.
Oh. Are they on the guard?
I think they're by.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And that's where you want to roll to. Wow, that was quite the gutsy line call there to have that carving.
Guess what weight they threw down?
That was I'm going to say that was a 12.
Deb says 11. That was a 10-5.
10-5. Oh, wow. Okay.
Which is way more weight than I thought they were going to play on that. But I guess they figured they could still get the movement they needed with.
I don't think they could have made that any better.
No, it couldn't have been better. I mean, you were always going to set up if you absolutely smack this yellow, you might get both reds moving. But you were going to have that outcome no matter where you rolled. It was a risk you were kind of going to take.
Yeah, so she's trying to hit what she can see of that yellow. It's going to go into the red that's currently shot, but we think it's going to spin onto the other red and push it back. Danger is you come a little wide here. Being narrow, you clip the guard, you open it up. Being wide, you hit that back red onto the yellow, and then you're going to make life difficult.
She's got the piece. She's got the piece.
Got it.
Yeah.
Oh, and there.
Spun up just a hair, but.
And it's basically the same situation it was before Schwaller's last shot, but now Schwaller doesn't have an in-off to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Now I think if you're Schwaller, you're in a position of do you just make it difficult for them to score too? Like you concede the extra end at this point.
I mean, and Schwaller is shot, right? So Morrison's got to do something.
Morrison's got to do something, but she's hanging on by a thread there.
Yeah.
Like they're second, third, fourth. So.
Yeah, you're certainly not feeling super comfortable.
Yeah. And I think you got to put one in the rings here.
Like promote your red, because you can't draw there, can you?
I think you do. I think you have to try and draw. I think you actually Do you ever not make yourself shot just so that you're set up a little better? Is this just a guard they're looking at, or?
They're looking at just the guard, yeah.
Oh.
And letting someone play a run back. But it feels like there's a lot of run. Like that rock, if we're looking from the thrower's perspective, that red on the right-hand side can be run in for 2.
I just see way too many run backs here. You're playing against a really good hitting team. I can't see guarding your way out of trouble here. I think
you could almost play that draw path that they played twice earlier in this end.
Yeah.
And just get another red in the forefoot, maybe, to try to cut down, even if you got rid of the red that's currently shot. But I guess they're going to gamble here and force them to make a run back.
The good thing would be that they are running a red one back. What I mean is that Team Morrison would have to run a red one back in, so they're probably banking on that red one is going the rock that will be run in is going to be the problem for Morrison. But the problem is Morrison gets 2 cracks at it now. I think the center line one might be easier if you just nose that center one.
And if you throw it hard enough, it'll come off, right?
Yeah. Like, I think it's almost a nose hit. Or she. Which one is she setting up for? The one on the. Yeah, and you can.
It almost looks like a double peel, but you would think she'd be running it.
I think she's running it. I think she's playing to hit. So she wants to hit the center line side of that yellow rock. Hit the center line side so that the rock that's being run in spills out. The yellow one probably drags a little bit. Might not even make it's probably making contact with one of the yellows, but that yellow's going on to red. Yellow could be sitting 3 here in a moment.
Ooh, okay, that's nice.
Who is second shot? Deb's going to let us know.
I think it's yellow.
Yellow is sitting 2. Yeah. Yeah.
No, it's all good.
Yeah.
I think that with the curl you get on this ice, you might be able to just sneak one in there if you're red, but you're going pretty wide around that guard.
Yeah, you got to just come by that red rock that's just off the rings there.
But you need to outcount at least one of those yellows, right?
Yeah.
You have no choice but to try to get at least second shot, and you can accomplish that by either tapping that or coming around wide.
And this is why I kind of, I know you can't take away everything, but this is why I kind of thought that guard, that last shot by Schwaller, that was a bad call. And sometimes just trying to give respect to your opponent. They're a good run back team. Hey, do we know? I see in the background there some of the baby dinos coming off the ice. Do we know who won that game? Oh, did they? Oh, geez. Okay, we'll see. Let's have a look there. We might have to hop onto our other channel here and see what's happening.
So where this broom is, I think that they must be trying to promote that red into the forefoot here. And this is a must make.
Good luck. Probably have to try and run hers. Probably, yeah. Yeah.
It looks close. Sweeping for line here, you cannot overcurl on this rock.
That's really close.
Really close. Gotta curl just a bit here. Oh no. I don't know if they promoted that red to
I don't
be
think they did. I
second.
think that's it. I think we see Morrison got their deuce. Throw it away. I don't know if they're having a look. I guess they figure it's close enough. And now they've conceded. So here we go. Morrison will be advancing to our B final, which is going to be happening at 4:30 p.m. here. Schwaller is going to drop down to the C. Thank you for joining us here at this Autumn Gold Curling Classic, coming to you from the Okotoks Curling Club in Okotoks, Alberta. Have a happy Thanksgiving. See you soon.
Thanks.